Continuing my TTRPG finances rambling. Now I'm going to talk about what I wanted to talk about in that last one, which is what me and Improv GM got talking about over on Blue Sky, which you could follow me over there. And that is that the most successful things financially, the things that sell the best, can change depending on what system you're writing for. I originally conjectured that adventures do not sell well for D&D 5e. Most people want player-facing content, they want new subclasses, new features, new magic items, or they want GM-facing content like new monsters, but not necessarily the adventures to run those monsters. Most people either want to stick with the same three big adventures, Rise of Tiamat, Curse of Strahd, and something else that you just particularly love, or they want homebrew. And no shame to any of that. It's just that I have seen the exact same thing in my personal sales, is that most of my organic 5e sales come from player-facing content. Adventures, I have to work to convince people to buy those. But Improv GM noted that it's the exact opposite for systems like RuneQuest and Glorantha, where most of their sales are for adventures. And that's because the game doesn't have as much player-facing stuff to need to tack on. And then you have the opposite being true for systems like Unknown Armies, where you want player options primarily, and selling adventures doesn't really work because it's fighting how Unknown Armies wants to play, how that system actually works. And I see a lot of similar stuff happening in the sort of the Borg area of the world. I see a lot of job modules and quests and scenarios and setting materials for the various Borg games, not as much player-facing content. Characters in those games are more disposable. They're more lightweight. You don't have a ton of features baked into who you are as a character. So it's more about, I want to keep playing this game and play new scenarios and find new ways of playing the same character, or oops, that character died. I've got a new character that I rolled off of a roll table that I still haven't exhausted. Let's play a new adventure in it. So when you are designing for somebody else's TTRPG, or when you're designing for your own TTRPG, think about, what does this TTRPG want to give people more of? Where do people crave more content for this system? That's the part that you should probably be focusing your development efforts on. Not to say you can't pivot into other areas, but that having one strong pull will be able to sell the other stuff that goes on the sides of it. For example, in 5e land, you will be able to sell a monster manual that includes adventures for those monsters, and the adventures enhance the sellability, the value of the monster manual, the bestiary, but people want the bestiary first. If you had just sold the adventures and said, oh, and they come with monsters, it wouldn't have been the same success.